Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance, your home on the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network for any and all things Star Wars. I'm your host, as always. It's Katie, and with me, as always, is Clay. Clay and I couldn't remember who was in charge of intro, so we flipped a coin, basically, for
Yeah,
who feels the least worst.
yeah, and I was just about to say, guys, if we feel down and out, it's nothing dramatic other than the fact that we are both sick. So, it's getting worse on my side. I think Katie is able to take care of herself. I'm just a big baby when I'm sick, so I complain a lot. I don't take any medicine, and then I complain that I'm still sick. Um, that's just the route I go. And then Abby had to basically force feed me medication this morning. Um,
No shit. Take your damn drugs.
it's
Sudafed.
well, it's just like I get so drowsy, and I'm just like a couch potato the entire time, and so
Sudafed is not drowsy. Take the Sudafed.
I need to go grab some Sudafed then, so that
The
way I'm not so drowsy.
pharmaceutical Sudafed, not the over the counter crap.
Well, see, that's gonna be harder to take, or at least harder to get, because it's not over the counter. So I have to go
But that's the
get it.
only kind worth getting.
That's probably true. That is most likely
Anyways,
very true. But yeah,
guys.
anyways, today, of course, is our November news catch up, as well as we are finally, after
Finally.
I think a year, reviewing
Yeah.
the Battle of Jakku.
Yeah, because I think originally I had this on our calendar for February, and you were like, Katie, this doesn't come out until June. And then
Yeah.
June through December or November has been swamped with other things. So
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but we are finally going to talk about the Battle of Jakku after this, and then also little tidbit for all of you book nerds out there. This is not going to be live. We're going to do this immediately after the show, but in prep for season 2 of Percy Jackson, Katie and I are also going to be recording the book review for book 2, which is Sea of Monsters.
yep.
And so that will be a Patreon exclusive. So uh, jump onto our Patreon if you want to hear our book review. It's something that we've decided to do ever since the release of the first season, going in order of every single book right before the season release. So I think that season releases on the 10th, so in literally
Yep.
7 days. And you'll get to hear our thoughts on the book. So, without further ado, Katie, let's go ahead and jump into our news segment. Where do you want to start off?
I was gonna ask you that question.
I think it's safe to say we should go in order.
Top to bottom it is. That works.
Yes,
All right.
so yeah, go ahead.
So the first bit on my list. Now, guys, I have coagulated this news doc together from Star Wars News Net, which is where we typically get our coverage. This is their This Week in a Galaxy Far, Far Away series. I just kind of went through this week's and then all of the November ones and was like, okay, what are the big things that we missed?
Yeah.
So in some cases, I have the original interview tagged with the item, but I just wanted to credit Star Wars News Net first of all. But I may not have all of the original interview locations for credits and stuff. So the first one is Starfighter news. Starfighter is in the middle of filming and is looking to wrap by the end of the year. Sean Levy, the director of the film, in promotion for Stranger Things season 5 releasing, did an interview on on the podcast On Film with Kevin McCarthy. I'm sorry, Clay. where he said Thomas Newman is set to compose. He worked on Shawshank Redemption, Wall-E, 1917, and American Beauty as some of his top previous films. He also said that Levy also said that the entire third act went out the window while shooting. It's said to have been tossed due to technical issues, but could also be scheduling conflicts. So that's all they've really said. But Levy has been rewriting the third act while he's filming. He's currently in the middle of actually shooting those pages and is much happier with what he has than what there was originally. And the other thing I found that was interesting is Matt Smith, who is reportedly the villain in the film, is only filming in December, it looks like. So he's only going to be there for a couple of weeks.
Which is disappointing. But I mean, I would really like to know, like, some of the best villains in cinema history and their screen time, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just to see, like, does it really matter? Or is it the or if it's the performance? Which I do believe it is the performance, of course. Um, Katie and I are really big fans of Matt Smith, not only because of his connections to, of course, Doctor Who, but some other uh, shows and movies that he has been in as well. He's also, most likely, not, I shouldn't say most likely, let me reel back. He is in the running for Brainiac for the next Superman movie, which is very,
Mm-hmm.
very exciting. But yeah, I am very excited to see more Matt Smith in my life because I feel like he has been just empty or just gone from Hollywood for a little bit, and I need him to
Yeah.
to be back in the limelight.
So this is the ranker.com list of best villains with minimal screen time. Number one on their list is Heath Ledger's Joker, with 33 minutes of The Dark Knight's 152-minute performance. Hannibal Lecter is number two with 24 minutes and 52 seconds. Hans Gruber in Die Hard, 23 minutes of 132 minutes. Wicked Witch of the West, 12 minutes.
So it's still like a fourth of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Really. The Wicked Witch of the West is on that list.
Yeah, from The Wizard of Oz, because she was in the film for just 12 minutes.
That's true.
Um, and then the only other one I really recognize on this list would be How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jim Carrey's The Grinch appears throughout the film, but the scenes total less than 30 minutes. So, just some fun other
Wow,
villains
really?
for you.
Only 30
Apparently.
minutes of that entire movie? That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. So
He's
yeah,
got
I
short little snippets, really.
that's
So,
true. It's very, quick cuts and stuff. That's very true.
mhm.
Um that is all we have for Starfighter.
How do
The
you
next
feel? How do
Oh,
you
go
feel
ahead.
about the third act being retooled?
I was going to say that bothers me a little bit. Like, and it must suck. Like, I'm not going to just be like, oh, the whole movie's ruined, blah blah. But like to have a vision and then like to have technological limitations
Hmm.
on that. For one, I think something like that should have been tested before production, before
Yeah,
full production. Um,
and
because
maybe
like,
it was, then it just misfired, or safety came in and was like, "Oh, this I don't like how this is."
yeah, that's true.
Um,
But like
But
I'm
it
not.
also could have boiled down to scheduling issues as well. Like maybe
Yeah,
he thought he was going to have somebody, like maybe Matt Smith was supposed to be 2 months of filming, but now can only do one kind of
yeah.
thing.
I was gonna say that like I like a quick knee jerk reaction is like, man, that makes me worry about this movie. But knowing that the director himself is like actually happy. Now, again, I understand this could all be just said at face value because he doesn't want to say anything negative about the production. That would look really bad on him, Lucasfilm, and Disney. But if it's true that he's actually happy with what he has now compared to what he had, like good. Like that is the work of a really good director and writer. Is that you can make a swift change and still make everything flow.
Yeah, I would agree. And I mean, this could happen in other films that you just don't get this publicity. We've talked about it several times with Star Wars films, is that Star Wars is just going to get more publicity than some indie pictures. And so this has probably happened in the past. Heck, I feel like uh, Agents Agents of Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, like we see it talked about all the time that hey, the Russos went in with basically no script.
Yeah,
So it happens. I feel like this will either be a good thing or showcase Hollywood so that Hollywood learns in like 8 years, hey, we need to do better about
yeah,
pre-production.
yeah.
So um we will see. I enjoy the Shawshank Redemption soundtrack.
Well, yeah, that was something else that I was going to point out. Like we have been so used to the comfortability of Lucasfilm in picking their composers, right? Like
Mhm.
we've gotten used to Michael Giacchino, and then oh, I can never pronounce his name. For Mandalorian, um, 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 um,
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to look it up.
is it Ludwig something?
Yeah,
Like I can't remember his last name. Off the top,
Ludwig Göransson.
Goranson. Like we've been so used, and then with Giacchino's son recently, right?
Hmm.
And so like getting more people into the universe of Star Wars films, I think that is going to be so much fun. Again, like I am a really big fan of Wally soundtrack. I'm a really big fan of 1917's soundtrack, as well as American Beauty. So, like, I'm really excited for this.
Hmm.
I'm really excited to see how he portrays Star Wars composing. You know?
Yeah, I would too. I think the music of Star Wars has been some of the best qualities of what Star Wars has brought to the Hollywood efforts and everything. So my hope is that we get another beautiful soundtrack. I will say I would have hoped that they would have brought in somebody, like I hope that there was other people given a chance to do this because we haven't seen a female composer for Star Wars. Um we haven't seen a person of color compose for Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
other than no, that was Loki. Never mind.
Yeah.
So I would have just loved to see somebody else roped into this. Obviously, this guy is more than qualified, but I hope that other people were given the chance to go, this is what I'd love to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And again, for me, seeing that Newman is being chosen for Starfighter gets me excited for other smaller projects. Again, like Starfighter is in this weird limbo currently of
mhm,
like it's small because it's not an episodic Star Wars title, but it's
yeah.
still big enough because it's the first Star Wars movie of characters that we don't know in a very long time, right?
Mhm. And
So
Kennedy has backed Levy up and gone, go wild. Like,
yeah,
if you don't want to use a character, I'm not going to force you to use a character. If you want to use a character, let's see what we can do to make it happen. Like, Levy has basically stated, like, he's getting free reign with this. And I kind of dig it, but also I'm kind of worried it's going to get written off as a tax break. So,
eh,
but maybe
I
that
mean,
doesn't happen for big IP. Well, no, Willow's not big IP, but it did get written off.
I think Looney Tunes
Looney Tunes.
is a big IP. I
That was a
think
shocker.
DC is a big IP, you know? And now, thankfully, the Looney Tunes, the Coyote versus Acme, is
Mm-hmm.
going to release soon. And, you know, we got that turned around. But, like, they could still, at the very end of the day, pull the rug underneath Lucasfilm and be like, let's not do
Yeah.
this, But let's not let's hope that it doesn't come to that. So our next topic of the news segment is Ahsoka. Now, uh, Claudia Black is returning for season 2.
And she was one of the Night Mothers.
Yes. Uh, well, actually, I don't think she is returning. Is she returning?
On returning for season 2.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she
yeah.
was originally returning.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, okay. Because I did see the article prior
Mm-hmm.
to us putting this on our notes. She said they picked up season 2, picked me up with it, and then Disney, which is structuring things differently these days, could not pay me what I needed to be paid as a single mother to keep all my responsibilities going home in Los Angeles because they were filming in London. It was not something that they could make happen, and therefore I had to bow out of season 2.
And that's super sad because her performance is one of the, I'm calling them Night Mothers, but like they're really, I don't think that's their actual title. Um, but her performance as one of those Night Mothers was spectacular. And so for the little time that we had her, Claudia, I'm super glad you were part of Star Wars. I hope there was nothing in her contract that said her performance could be reused for AI purposes, because we know that studios have started to bring that in more. Hopefully, the role is just being recast.
Yeah.
Uh, and Disney needs to pay their actors more or stop producing things where people don't live for long
Well,
periods of
well,
time.
like for me, I think it's very simple. The fact that somebody is needing a certain amount of pay for the bare minimum of
Mm-hmm.
the expectation to go across the world. Like, you need to understand that not every single actor is your jumbo blockbuster big screen A-list actor that can just be like, "Oh yeah, put me on this private jet and, we'll
Mm-hmm.
we'll get going." Like, I truly believe that Disney needs to start stepping up and looking at these realistic terms for people like single mothers, people with
Mm-hmm.
disabilities, all of the above, and saying, hey, we will accommodate you. Simple as that.
Yeah. No, for sure. I completely agree. And it sucks that it's happening. I feel like this is only going to become more commonplace, especially with these minor roles, like you said. Like, oh, people who want to play your role are a dime a dozen. Like, are they though? Are they? Um, all right, so the next part of the Ahsoka stuff, I realized I didn't put the title on this one. But this is a Pod of Rebellion interview with Henry Gilroy, who was a writer, a main writer on Star Wars Rebels. And this is in reference to Sabine being able to use the Force. And I pull Obviously, it was a podcast interview. Star Wars News Net kind of got the quotes. I pulled 2 quotes in particular, so I'm going to read those and then we're going to talk about them.
Yep.
He said, "It was absolutely not the plan. We really felt that not only did it step on Ezra's story, it was a weak retread. We already did this. The idea of Sabine training as a Jedi when she is already this fantastic warrior of her own type, we felt this is overkill." And he kind of continued it later when also talking about the Darksaber. He said, "I was shocked. What I love about the story with the Darksaber is that you don't have to be a Jedi to have Jedi ideals. I think that's what's really the more important thing, rather than force pushing Ezra 100 feet when you've never used the Force before."
So, first, Henry, take a chill pill, for one, is something that I have to say. But two, I am in between. And the reason being is I really don't like, and we will get into this with the Battle of Jakku, because it there is something from a previous work in Star Wars that is in the same time period. They don't match up. And I got angry. I put it on my notes. I said, WTF, this is a canonical error. What the hell? But we'll get into that when we talk about the Battle of Jakku. When I looked at this, the reason why I'm in between is because I truly still believe if you are continuing a story of characters that have been previously worked on, that should be a group effort. For notes reasons, for canonical reasons, and everything else. Now, if it is a push on, hey, this story needs to move forward with Sabine using the Force and wielding a lightsaber, you just have to come to terms with that. I'm sorry. But this whole thing of like, oh, I'm shocked, and now I'm going to have to, defend my baby as far as my work and all this other stuff. I think it's dumb that they did this because they, basically threw all of the characterization that I wrote into oblivion. Like, that's not cool. I truly believe that's not cool. But I do think that Henry Gilroy needs to take a step back, understand that this is a very large IP that is not his, and that these things happen because of the IP that he is dealing with.
I can definitely see where you're coming from. However, is probably a character that's very near and dear to his heart because he probably helped create Sabine from scratch as a character. I know Timothy Zahn was super pissed off when Mara Jade was killed off in Legacy. It's not Legacy of the Jedi. Maybe it is. When Mara Jade was killed off, and he was not consulted. You knew that already.
Did I?
You should have, because I've talked about it plenty of times. I don't disagree with where he's coming from. Is it maybe a bit strong? But this was also an interview talking about Rebels and kind of some things that have moved forward. A lot of people have begun to view Rebels and Ahsoka in different frames of mind and kind of treating them as separate characters. And I think that's what our big point was when reviewing Ahsoka was, hey, this could have been a different character that you could have chosen to do this on. And Sabine could have maintained, because we talked about this at length with the Ahsoka reviews, is does this take away from the fact that Sabine was a Mandalorian, very strong Mandalorian, but now you want to turn her into a Jedi. And yes, Mandalorians can be Jedis, but her character was already so beautiful as it was. And I think that's Henry's point, is why would you, because he talked, I know there's a different quote out there, but I couldn't find it in this interview. But he talked about how they had that idea for somebody else who was proven to have no Force sensitivity or wasn't gifted in the Force. becoming that Jedi and learning that skill and everything. But he didn't want it to be Sabine because he thought Sabine had a good basis for where she was at as a Mandalorian. And I still agree with that. I still don't like the hey, let's take this character and go with it. I think there was enough there where you didn't have to do that because of what she does with the dark saber in Rebels season 3. Like I feel like there's plenty of leeway there for her to go, okay, she can use a lightsaber, but do we really want to give her force powers?
Yeah.
Like, so that's my opinion. I don't think he's overreacting. I think he's valid to have these feelings. Obviously, it's not his character anymore, but he can still feel the way he wants to feel.
Yeah, and that's why that's why I said I'm in between. Like
Mhm.
I do understand that is his baby, you know, being able to
Mhm.
create a character within this IP. You see that a lot in Marvel and DC, and they come to terms with like, hey, I'm doing this for a multi-million-dollar company, and I will never own the rights to this character. Um, and I'm not saying that Henry did not like have that conversation with himself,
Mhm.
but like it's very unfortunate that like, hey, it is Star Wars. You do have to let go of that. But just remember, you have 5 seasons of Rebels.
4.
4 seasons, sorry, 4 seasons of Rebels. So you can you could watch Sabine be a badass Mandalorian whenever you want.
Yeah.
So
You always have what's come before. And then the last thing out of this one was, and I could not find a source for this. It was just kind of a throw off mention. But Rosario Dawson, I believe it was at a con, hinted at a more lighthearted Ahsoka coming in season 2 of Ahsoka. So,
I think this is going to feel a little weird because like yes, for us fans of this genre, this, you know, IP, we have seen all of Clone Wars. We know where her story began and we know where it's ended. So like we've seen the evolution of Ahsoka. We've seen her be joyous and funny and quirky, and like seeing her do that here in live action for season 2, like it'll probably warm our little hearts being like, "Oh, there's little Ahsoka again," right?
mhm,
I think it's going to hit a little off because this is a brand new chemistry that we're probably still going to be seeing with like Hayden, you know?
mhm.
And so it's going to feel a little weird at first, but I think we can get behind that, you know?
Yeah, I do too. And I know a lot of people were like, why is Ahsoka so stoic? And I think the stoicism that we got in Rebels makes sense because she was there so little. And so every time you really see Ahsoka in there, she's on a very specific mission. And so that stoicism is needed, especially with the rest of the cast. In this case, everybody's kind of downtrodden until Ezra gets to appear. Like, so it'll be nice to see what the change is or if there's really a change because we all know sometimes what a character's portrayer thinks is lighthearted or different emotional scale is not always what the audience thinks in that emotional scale.
Yeah.
So,
So the next topic that we have is the acolyte. I know that there is hundreds of people that just groaned at me saying this. But guys, let's face facts. This was a great show. The cancellation was uncalled for. We've kind of seen the actual evidence of that. Um, but Leslie Headland on the cancellation of the show in an interview with The Wrap, she stated, "I was not surprised by it. I think I was surprised at the swiftness of it and the publicness of it. I was surprised by how it was all handled. But once I was getting particular phone calls about the reaction and the criticism and the viewership, I felt like, okay, the writing's on the wall for sure."
and this was not the only particular quote in this. Star Wars Newsnet has all of the acolyte cancellation quotes. on their website, so you can go and check there because we don't have time to discuss the whole thing. But I felt like this was probably the most relevant because as a director, as a creator of something, you never want to see your piece get canceled. You want to see it loved and everything. And Leslie, I do think at some point it will come out in the net positive, especially as more things come out and people are like, oh, well, this is horrible. Why can't you make it like The Acolyte? We're going to see that happen. And she talked about that in the interview too, talking about how, okay, people have started to pick up IP reactions as their content and as their paycheck. And studios are deciding to use those content creators as their focus group instead of bringing in a neutral focus group to really kind of showcase what the main opinion is, because we all know, as Star Wars fans in particular, the negative opinions are always going to shine the brightest because those are the ones that get people talking. And so she definitely saw it, and probably as an LGBTQ member, she probably was like, oh, like, I know this is coming. Like, it's not meant to be. And I'm just glad it wasn't written off for tax purposes at the end of the day. Like, we still get to go back to Disney Plus and have this beautiful show. It definitely sucks. I encourage people to go look at the full interview. She's launching her own production company, which is where this interview came out of, because this is the first time she's really spoken about it. There's a lot of good insight in there into Hollywood as a whole. So
very cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. Next topic. Again, people are gonna groan, but I love it. I absolutely love it. Ryan Johnson from The Hollywood Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter reported he had been offered Return of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Sorry.
There's a lot of acronyms in this bullet point.
The Rise of Skywalker due to The Last Jedi box office. But J.J. Abrams was announced to direct the film 3 months before The Last Jedi came out. Ryan Johnson on Blue Sky stated, I never was going to do it, and I never turned it down. So, like, people were, like, snapping their fingers at this, like, ooh, Ryan, yes, go after them, right? How do you feel about this?
I do still wish that Ryan Johnson had been able, or at least if he was offered to do Rise of Skywalker, because I do think he would have done it probably a little more poetic justice, especially in regards to Carrie Fisher's passing. And honestly, there's not a lot that J.J. Abrams really could have done differently, honestly, because he was pushed to release Rise of Skywalker at the same release date and wasn't allowed to push it back.
Yeah.
And he kind of just had to work with what he was given. Like, at least Carrie Fisher's family gave permission to use that unused footage from Force Awakens and The Last Jedi to kind of really push the meter forward. But I know Ryan Johnson worked with Carrie Fisher on rewrites for The Last Jedi. Like, we've talked about it before, but Carrie Fisher was basically like a script editor in her free time. And that was like her main job for the majority of her Hollywood career.
If you look at her IMDb, she has so many credits, which is absolutely bonkers. I've actually looked it up once, mainly because, like, for me, it wasn't until I think 2008. I don't want to sound weird and say 2008. 2008. She was in this random horror film, and I was like, holy crap, that's Princess Leia. And so, like, I looked up, like, what all she had been in since Star Wars, and yeah, she had an amazing resume in Hollywood, and I think that's just great. Now, again, more people with snapping of their fingers here. We have been soaking up all of the Hunt for Ben Solo stuff, and Ryan was asked about it. He says, I want to see Adam in another Star Wars movie, man. I want to see it.
Period. Exclamation point.
Yes, and then also one thing that we didn't put on here that we did see in November was some tongue-in-cheek photos from Adam, um, in a completely different country, taking photos in front of some pinball machines. One of them being a specific Star Wars pinball machine, and him having the biggest grin on his face. And he knew exactly what he was doing. So I love when actors do this because
Mm-hmm.
they just don't give a damn anymore.
Yep.
And it's kind of in the same realm of what we're going to be talking about with Oscar Isaac as well. But why don't you take that bullet point?
All right. So Oscar Isaac, in an interview with GQ magazine, said this on returning to work with Disney. Yeah, I mean, I'd be open to it, although right now I'm not so open to working with Disney. But if they can kind of figure it out and, not succumb to fascism, that would be great. I love this.
Fuck yeah! No, I shared the video to some of the GUA members that we all kind of follow each other on TikTok, um, and I told them I love that this quote didn't just come from a like off-screen interview. You actually see him say this in front of a camera. He knows exactly what he's doing. Like, I love this because yeah, fuck fascism.
The man is just a legend. And I love all of the pieces he's in. And I'm super excited. Um, I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch Frankenstein, but I really do want to.
It's
Uh,
on my to-do list before the end of the year. Like every single time that I'm just sitting in my living room and everybody else is asleep, I'm like, I could stay up and watch it, but I know I'll probably fall asleep.
yeah.
So I'll wait.
Yeah. And also, just as a side note, completely unrelated to anything we're talking about, other than the fact that Frankenstein is on Netflix. Screw you, Netflix, for not having Wake Up Dead Man be in theaters in South Carolina, or at least in the
I I
upstate.
I will say I think it's kind of BS that they're only doing limited
The
releases.
worst scenario. I have seen I say everyone. I've seen both Knives Out films previously in theaters, and I was really looking forward to seeing this one. Like I had all my babysitting coordinated and everything, and then kablooey. No Wake Up Dead Man.
Well, no,
You
and I
suck.
think like for one, hey Netflix, let me just tell you, you would probably have a better chance at buying WB if you had box office money, you stupid bitches.
Yep.
Um, like you refuse to have a full release of K-pop Demon Hunters. Like even the sing-along version, it was on select theaters. It wasn't worldwide.
Streaming is not going to make you money long term.
Yeah, like I understand. I understand the want because hey, that was your business model. Coming from somebody who is literally building a business on something that will legitimately be in the same boat you were in. Guess what I'm also doing though? Oh well, I actually can't say that until we actually you'll have to wait and see. But yeah, like I just think it's so dumb because not only with K-pop Demon Hunters, but with this as well, you've had multiple movies with directors saying, "Hey, I really wish I could have had a theatrical release." They would have even gone with a limited theatrical release, and you still didn't give it to them. Like, if you're so worried about being in the hole and then not being able to make these bigger purchases that will better your company, hey, make the smarter move here, guys. Really. Sorry, that was a little bit of a rant there.
No, we completely went off topic, and that's fine because I was just really pissed off about Wake Up Dead Man. I was really wanting to see that in theaters. So yeah. I believe that concludes our news segment for the evening.
Yes. And now we are off to the Battle of Jakku. Now, guys, if you do not have a local comic book shop or a Barnes and Noble nearby, Not sponsored. Go check out Marvel Unlimited. All of these series that are included in the Battle of Jakku are on Marvel Unlimited. That's how I was reading it. Um, Katie, I believe, actually had the physical book. So,
Yeah, because I still haven't fixed my Marvel Unlimited payment. But yes,
yeah,
I have
so
the physical book, and I even put Post-its in
awesome.
them.
Um, so, right off the bat, Katie, I'm going to go ahead and tell you my very angry.
Well, okay, let's do the credits first so we can make sure we
Yes,
credit
yes, yes.
everyone properly. So, working on this, we have Alex Segura as the writer. For Insurgency Rising, which is part one, we have artists Leonard Kirk, Jethro Morales, Luke Ross, and Stefano Raphael. The color artist being Rochelle Rosenberg with Alex Sinclair. Letterer for, or I'm going to wait for that. Republic Under Siege, which is part two. We have artist Stefano Raphael with Jethro Morales. Color artist being Alex Sinclair with Jim Campbell. And then Last Stand, which is the final part, part three, we have Jethro Morales with Leonard Kirk. And the color artist being Jim Campbell. The letterer for the entire thing is VC's Joe Caramang, Caram,
Caramagna.
Car,
Yeah.
Caramagna. Cover art, we have Phil Noto for Insurgency Rising, Torin Clark for Republic Under Siege, and E.M. Gist for Last Stand.
Very nice. Yes. Now, Star Wars Battle of Jakku Insurgency Rising. This book opens up in issue 1 at the very
Okay,
end.
non spoilers first.
Okay, non spoilers. For as heated as I'm gonna be for this first bit, like after we go into the non spoilers, I will also say this: I love the art. This story kind of fell flat for me. Um, More so because like the whole thing is called.
Oh, sorry, I thought I muted.
No, it's all good. You're good. I'm gonna see about cutting that out. Um, the whole book is called Battle of Jakku.
Mm-hmm.
When do we get to Jakku?
The final part, if
The
that.
final issue. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the very end of issue 3, but we don't even get like boots on the ground
Yeah.
until the end of issue 4. So it's like, don't call this the Battle of Jakku. Like, what you should really do is name it like something that is knowingly to the audience, oh, this is before the Battle of Jakku. You know? Do a play on words, do something. Because I was waiting for this big space battle, this, again, boots on the ground. Hey, this is going to be a fight for Jakku. Also, to find out that the Battle of Jakku is not even, and again, minor spoilers in the non-spoiler section. Finding out that the Battle of Jakku is not an actual like order from any living person at the time. It literally does nothing. Like when you
But
when
we
you look.
knew that from Aftermath Empire's End.
Yes, technically yes. But when you look at the grander story of Star Wars, this literally only happens because The Force Awakens takes place on Jakku.
You're not wrong.
Like there is no actual reason for Jakku to be the center point of this story or this battle.
But it's simply because, and I think once you read Alphabet Squadron, you'll get a little more context to it as well, because there's this whole thing that Battle of Jakku kind of goes into. It's pulling snippets from Alphabet Squadron as well as Aftermath. So
Okay.
there's a lot of context because Alphabet Squadron trilogy and Aftermath trilogy happen nearly identical pacing.
Okay, so that's
So,
probably why like I saw some of these characters and I'm like, who are you?
well, and not really that, but like Operation Cinder is like a big focal point of Alphabet Squadron. But it's
Yeah.
mentioned in here because like you see like the little droids and everything. Sorry, I'm flipping through trying to find something. Um, so going back to my non-spoiler thoughts, um, I really enjoyed the art in this. Like I tried to pick out a few key pieces where I was like, "Ooh, this is like my favorite." But like realistically, I love how the art flows in this book. Specifically, I love that for our main trio because we do get Han in this, albeit limited because this happens at the same time as Aftermath. He's off doing something on his own. Um all of our main trio, including even Lando, they look like themselves, but they don't look like the actors. And I love that.
I was a little wishy-washy on that because like although I really did love the art here, there was some times where like the same artist would draw Luke Skywalker inconsistently in
Mhm.
all of Insurgency Rising, you know? Um and I'm just like, okay, this is a little weird, but I can get over it. But then when
Mhm.
you move on to what's the second one? The second one is Republic Under Siege.
Well, and
Like,
Insurgency Rising had multiple different artists.
so that makes
So
sense. Okay.
that
Yeah,
makes
yeah, yeah.
sense.
So when you're looking at Republic Under Siege and you see you see Luke, you're like, "Oh, that's Luke Skywalker."
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, and I even love how like in this you have um like this character whose name is Weasel. This looks like the guy who plays R2D2.
Yes. He is also from Willow. He
Mhm.
um what's his name in here? He actually is a character in
It's
Star
Weasel.
Wars. Weasel. Um he is in A New Hope and he
Oh,
is
is he?
I am almost positive he is in New Hope as well as Return of the Jedi. Um I'll have to double check on that,
Oh
but I
yeah.
am yeah, yeah.
Phantom Menace first appearance.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's on Tatooine.
Yeah. And he's in Solo. So
Oh
those are the big
yeah.
appearances.
He is. Look at that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Um yeah, I really loved the art. I would agree with you. The story is kind of hit or miss because I was definitely trying to go through and go like, okay, where are we at in Aftermath? Like, wait, Leia looks more pregnant than I would expect her to be based on everything else.
Okay, that was another thing. When you go from Republic Under Siege to Last Stand,
Uh-huh.
sh- she gets jumbo pregnant, and I don't know how much time has passed between. It almost seems like immediately after because they're talking about the same things that are going on at the very end of Republic Under Siege.
Yeah.
But then like you see Leia in her very famous like all white
Hmm.
outfit and she is like prego.
Yeah. And that's where it was like, it was hard for me to keep track too, because also the other thing that you have to consider, guys, is we both hated the Aftermath trilogy with like a deep and utmost passion. So
This is
going
true.
through and reading this did catch my attention more than Aftermath did.
Yes.
Probably because the art was so good. But tracking it with Aftermath, because I specifically watched Aftermath from my brain. I had Wikipedia up for like part of my read and was like, okay, what was happening in Aftermath again, a life debt, where are we, Empire's End, like
Yeah.
all those things. And it's not any fault of, I think, Segura. If you hadn't read Aftermath, you'd be like, oh, that's a cool Easter egg. Maybe I'll look that up one day. But because we've read Aftermath, we're like, wait a second. Does this match up chronologically?
But now there's another story that also lines up with this.
Alphabet Squadron.
No. The very beginning of Insurgency Rising, issue number 1, the opening pages, where are they? Well, not the opening pages.
Yeah.
When you first see
This is not Princess in the Sky. Oh, you wait a second.
yeah. Yes. Yes. Princess and the Scoundrel. 100%.
Dude, you're right. I kind of thought about it.
Princess and the Scoundrel. My notes, verbatim, say, hold the fucking phone. Why is Han leaving immediately after their wedding? This is a continuity error.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
They are saying that the Battle of Jakku happens literally moments after their wedding, when in fact, we know that with Princess and the Scoundrel takes place immediately after their wedding, and they go on a cruise.
Yes. So, are you just saying like Battle of Jakku because that's the name of the 12-issue run?
Yeah, because this is what did I say? This is Insurgency Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
again,
the ending issues, like this takes place over a full year, basically.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Which is the same pacing as Aftermath. Aftermath takes place over a full year. The trilogy takes place over a full year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
And if that's the case, you have Alphabet Squadron, you have Princess and the Scoundrel, you have the Aftermath trilogy, and this all stepping on each other's toes.
Yep. Which, and it never really mattered because Alphabet Squadron and Aftermath didn't really feature a whole lot of Leia. Like, there is Leia, but Leia primarily comes in at the end of Aftermath, and then at the end, and then she's more of a main character really in Life Debt and Empire's End.
Yeah.
Not a main character, but like, you know what I mean. But yeah, having Leia in this, Leia and Han, like Han's appearances really kind of line up other than the beginning with Aftermath. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to go back and read Princess and the Scoundrel and see if there's any like head canoning.
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is either.
Because if my memory serves me right, they have their bachelorette parties. They have the wedding. And then immediately after the wedding, they're like, okay, we're off to go to war still. We need to clean up the galaxy. And then that's when they're like, oh, hold on. No. You guys need to take it easy. And they go on the cruise.
Yeah. Because the whole point of that book was like the Halcyon plug, but then also
because they did have a moment in Insurgency Rising where Leia went to Darth Vader's mask, just like she did in Princess and the Scoundrel. So I was like, okay, things are starting, like these things are still looking okay, but that was before the wedding, not after.
Yep.
And so like it all just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me right there. And so that was like strike one for me. Reading the rest of the book, again, I like the art. I like seeing Jaeger. I'm a big fan of Jaeger from What's the show? What's the show?
Resistance.
Resistance. Yes. Um, and then seeing, and you can help me with this. A Dameron, is that any
That's
relation?
correct. So that's Poe's father.
All right. Okay. We're both
I'm so
coughing up a
sorry,
storm
guys.
here.
The more I talk, the more it hurts. And the more I cough. Therefore. Um so that is Poe's father. I don't know if his mom is still alive at this point. Um, because I haven't finished Charles Soule's run of Star Wars.
Okay.
So, I know she's alive at the beginning of that, I feel like. So, yeah, but Poe is alive at this point.
Yeah.
And there's probably more Poe Dameron references than you would get, really, because Alex Segura wrote Poe Dameron Freefall. And there are several references
Ah.
to
Okay.
that book in there, which is also why you see Ziva Bliss in this,
Mm-hmm.
is because the Blisses, the Spice Runners of Kajimi, make an appearance in that because that's like the tie-in to know, well, Poe, how do you know Zori?
Yeah.
So, um, so there's a lot of references to his novel in here, which I don't mind. They're not like overly conscious about anything. So,
Okay. So let's immediately talk about the main conflict, which is this dude named
Adelhard.
Adelhard. How'd you feel about him being an antagonist? The um, guy that, for all intents and purposes, here is trying to take the role of the emperor in some
Mhm.
capacity, um, goes immediately downhill, and then literally chooses chaos at the very end of this. Like, how did
Mhm.
you feel about his entire characterization?
I definitely thought he was a super dumbass. Um, because like you can see like and the acolytes of the beyond are in here as well, and they're playing a key role in Operation Cinder and all these things that the Emperor has kind of set into motion with his death. Um, and so he's really just kind of losing his brain a little bit here. With everything that's going on, he's like, I am burdened with glorious purpose.
I was gonna
Like
say
basically.
this dude literally thinks he's the main character.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's like, Vader came to me when I got my promotion to governor and said, we have great things planned for you. But like, not really, because you were shoved in this dark little hole in sector in the galaxy, like hoping you would never come out again.
it's the manipulation of the empire. That's how
Yep.
they got people to do exactly what they wanted to do. I'm sorry,
Yep.
it is. That's all it is.
100%. Um, he's superbly interesting, I would think, though, because of what he knows about the Empire. But he's on like the same playing field as the Lothal governor. What's her name? From Thrawn. Um,
Oh yes, yeah.
because I hated her guts, and I hate Adelhard basically just as much because they're both dumb as crap. Um, and they think they're destined for greatness. But I do love how Adelhard just basically chooses to go straight chaos at the end. Like, fuck all y'all. I'm just gonna burn it
Like
all down.
he when he gets like his like right hand is like, do we go now? He's like, no, you will go when I say you go, not a moment sooner, not a moment later. And then like 3 pages pass. He's like, okay, kill everyone,
Yep.
empire, rebellion, everyone. And I'm like, oh god. Um, and it's insanity, honestly.
Yeah. He's he seems like he could be super smart in some of the things that he does, but he also had an imperial spy, or not an imperial spy, rebellion spy in his midst for goodness knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
He got super gypped by Reyna Oscure, who, by the way, is the first Anzati from Legends to make an appearance in canon. The
Okay.
Anzati were a legend species, and Segura brought them in for the first time. Um, Yup Tashu was one of the people from Aftermath. He dies at the end of Aftermath. Spoiler alert, maybe. We already talked about that. But like going back to Adelhard, he's like, "Oh, I am the heir to the throne of the empire." And everybody else is like, "No, you're the pawn who's going to let everything else happen, basically, because I can manipulate you." And he's like, "I don't trust you, Oscar, but at the same time, like, I'm fully gonna make out with you." Like, dude, you're not smart
Yeah,
whatsoever.
like I was very confused as to like what made him think that he literally had all of the cards in the deck. Because you clearly saw everybody else making these moves and you just think, "Oh, because that one time Darth Vader said I'm special, I can just say things and people will follow me."
Yep.
Like it's wild.
Nobody, and this is what I've like told, like, this is the difference between like this case and like Lane Kiffin, for instance, because Lane Kiffin is like the popular topic in college football right now. People know what you said in the room, dude, and everybody has social media because you met with 115 people to talk about you leaving to go to LSU. In this case, Adelhard only met with Vader. Nobody else freaking cares because nobody else was there to witness what Vader told you, dude.
Yeah.
You are dumb.
Like I do like one thing that I was kind of pissed off about him, and I wish they explored a little bit more. And I think it's more so just because of his psyche. But like, he's like, the Force is a joke. It's all
Mm-hmm.
magic and gimmicks. And then he like witnesses it firsthand from Luke, and he's like, "Huh, maybe this dark side is like a good thing to be on my side." And then
Yep.
like, he never does anything with it. You know, like there's a little bit of teasing of like, oh yes, you're what does he call her? Oh, you dark witch. Like, yes, like
Yeah.
your dark side will aid me in my up and comings, but like for now, blah blah. And he never pursues anything with it.
Yeah. And that's what like I really didn't understand in like the grand scheme of things is like he feels like he could be the super cool character, and maybe Sugora was just kind of given him and gone because Adelhard was introduced in a video game in 2016 and then has kind of been used in this general area and kind of
Oh,
had his
2016. So
character
I'm
fleshed
guessing
out.
that is Starfighter.
Star Wars Uprising.
Oh, Uprising. Okay.
Yeah, it was a mobile game
Yeah.
with a full release on September 10th, 2015. Um, it was taken offline November 17th, 2016.
Yep.
So, um, but they kind of expanded on his character throughout like this area of the timeline between Aftermath, Alphabet Squadron, all those things. So maybe he was given this and been like, okay, you're going to tell Adelhard's story in this, but I want you to also tell everybody else's story at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, I was trying to look for something that because he's definitely like big here. Like he is, I would say, the main character of this story. Would you agree?
Oh
Disagree?
yeah. I 100% agree.
I do love that we get Ray Sloan, by the way. We haven't really talked about her all that much, but I love Ray Sloan.
And she also is like a very minor character here. Like you see her just like pop in every so once in a while to kind of move the agenda
Mm-hmm.
towards what I assume will be the 2025 volume of Star Wars. Um,
I don't think so because she disappears at the end of Aftermath. And so
oh,
like
that's
they
true.
go
Yeah, yeah,
off
yeah.
into the unknown galaxy. So I don't think she'll make an appearance there. I haven't looked because obviously we're going to be reviewing that in the beginning of
Eventually,
next year.
yeah.
So um but I love like Segura really does tell like a very tight story and he adds a lot of details, but I do wish that maybe he got like 5 issues per like mini run in
Yeah, I
this.
think this needed to have at least one or two more to kind of flesh things out a little bit. Um, because again, the dark side stuff, I think he like would have been really fun to kind of mess
Mm-hmm.
with. Also, the clear like espionage spy stuff that is like in the Mon Mothma Leia story in here
Yeah,
is something that I also wanted to kind of still pick up a little bit. Um, and then like again, you reintroduce a very famous comic book character being Doctor
mm-hmm.
Aphra, and then nothing
I
after
love
that.
it. And I think it was to help kind of speed the way for the Doctor Afro series that came after in a little bit. Because we're gonna talk about that one too. But yes, she doesn't really make a huge appearance here. She's just kind of helping redirect the story, like, hey, Luke, you're getting distracted. Like, you need to focus. In that same regard, though, I did want to talk about this character, this acolyte of the beyond,
Okay.
whose name is Housel. This very clear redhead who um who also, because I missed the page apparently where I had the note, who also has green eyes like Mara Jade. Like,
I
dude, are
knew
you
this is
kidding me?
exactly where this was going.
Like, that's 100% on purpose. Let's be real, y'all. Let's be real. It's 100% on purpose by some artist or even Segura's fault in the grand scheme of things. Like, I just had to bring it up, okay?
I'm wondering if anybody else has had that tinfoil hat of like, oh, this is a pseudonym. She's really Mara Jade. You know,
I think, I don't know in like that regard. I think it's probably just like a haha, like I'm gonna laugh at all you
like a
people.
little
Like,
tongue in cheek. So, speaking of, um, in the fourth issue
okay, here it is.
of,
This one. Sorry, I did have it. And
oh
you can see my
yes,
note. She's got effing green eyes too. Like,
I believe it's issue 4 of Insurgency Rising, and Luke is fighting um this Inquisitor imposter who we later find out
is
is
Reina.
yes. Now,
So she's not an inquisitor. She has a blade from an inquisitor.
yes, and so my question is, where'd she get the blade? And he even says, "Oh, anybody can wield a blade, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Because of course she wasn't using any force powers, and we know that she is a part of like this grander cult that just follows the emperor's every whim.
The acolytes of beyond. Yeah. So to me, she's working with Yup Tashu, which means Yup Tashu, being the imperial advisor, probably had access to the Inquisitor blades and stuff. I did think that originally Luke had gotten his hands on an Inquisitor blade. And so he was sneaking in. But like obviously we see Luke come out, but I was like, dude, what is going on? Because it is because of how much Segura has to tackle. It does kind of feel disconnected, where he tells Leia, "Oh, I'm gonna go find our people,"
Yeah.
but then also like, yeah.
Do you have anything else in regards to
Um,
Battle of Jakku? Because I'm like everything that I'm thinking of, we kind of already tackled.
we do get Lando's Lady Luck.
Yes, I love that
Um,
design.
it's supposed to be a very luxurious yacht, and I do love the design. But it is definitely different compared to most of the ships that we've seen. Um,
Of
but
course, Lando has to be different, you know.
he's got to be different. He definitely has to. Um, I love this panel in particular with Leia, or this page with Leia and Mon Mothma. This is just like a very politically moving segment
Mm-hmm.
where, because Mon Mothma is like, governance rarely holds the same idealistic wonder as revolution. And that's true. Like, in a grand scheme of things, that's absolutely true. But also, it shouldn't have to
Yeah,
be that different.
yeah. I
But
really, I really wanted to again, like I wanted to explore more of Mon Mothma's story as well as Leia's story, uh, because I think it was twice in this entire series that they survived assassination attempts. Um, and I like
mhm.
I don't think we get enough of the espionage stuff when it comes to comics. It's all
Yeah,
the action.
because
It's all the starfighting and the ground battles, but none of like the secret mission stuff.
yeah, because in this, like, you're getting a lot of like the political machinations, but you definitely also get more of that. I feel like in Aftermath, just because of everything that's going on. Um, I did really sorry. I'm flipping through and taking out my notes, trying to see if there's anything else that I had. This panel of Afra is just super gorgeous. Like
Yeah, I like that page splash.
it's gorgeous. Because obviously we both feel like crap and we need to move along. Oh, I did like this reference. It's where Dr. Afra is still in. I think this is issue 2. Yeah, Republic Under Siege 2. And it's kind of the big one where Rax is telling Rand and Sloane like, "Hey, like get your crap together." And he's talking about like the future of the Battle of Jakku. And he's like, the Battle of Jakku will bury the past and open the door to a future beyond anything the Empire has ever envisioned. And my note on there was, let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Yes,
Like,
of course.
I just like how authors have chosen to like kind of grasp that and like grasp certain comments of the sequel trilogy and just go, yeah, we're just gonna rope it in, basically.
Yeah.
Um this was another good splash page with all the characters on them.
I really love the art right there.
Yeah. Like having Adelhard, Reyna, the bounty hunter. Like, there's just something about this Luke draw right here. Like, it looks like Hamill, but it doesn't. And like
Mm-hmm.
that gives me goosebumps because so often like previously you've seen in comics, hey, we want to stick to what the actor looks like.
Yeah.
I love how they branched out and were like, hey, you know what? Like, let's make him look different, but like
Yeah,
still in the
I
same
like the
vein.
idea of like, hey, you need to draw Luke Skywalker, not Mark Hamill. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, that was in the same vein of that comment. What was this one? Okay, I can take that one out. I have 3 more. Okay. Um. Yeah. So in the assassination attempt on Chandrilla, where Leia is super pregnant, she's talking about
Yeah.
how Sloane's visit, um, like their appearance so soon after the chaos wrought by Sloane's visit. Sloane's visit was aftermath life debt. So it makes sense, kind of the area that we've time traveled.
Yeah.
Um, here. Yeah. Here's a comment on this page where Reina reveals that she's betraying him, and it says, "Dude, you're a freaking idiot." Um, okay, that's it. That's all I had.
Yeah, like the fact that he like was just so like encumbered by power. Like he's like, "Oh, I can have my woman, I can have my power, I can have my fleet, I can have my entire sector of space." Um like I started to like him, and then he lost to Luke Skywalker the very first time. And I'm like, "Dude, you're a joke." Like, and I wonder if that is like a good part of writing when it comes to Star Wars, or a bad part of writing when it comes to Star
Hmm.
Wars, because like you want a challenging antagonist. But like knowing
Yeah.
somebody is so dumb and it challenges our heroes, it's like that's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
And like overall that's kind of how or why my rating of this book is a little flat. Um if he was a little bit more of a threat, like a legitimate threat,
Hmm.
I feel like and again, the characters, like everybody in this book sees him as a threat, and that's not the problem. But when us the audience that are reading this, it's like, dude, you're kind of a joke. Like I know you're going
Yeah.
to lose at the end of this. Like that is not where I want to be headspace wise while I'm reading the book.
But I do think it's also to kind of showcase, because Adelhard is mentioned so frequently in Aftermath and Alphabet Squadron. I think this is kind of meant to just give you that area of his story, because you know that there's other things going on if you've read those books. But then this kind of gives you Adelhard's story, but then gives you those hints to the other stories that are going on.
Yeah.
I caught this one. This cover right here for Last Stand 2, where everybody looks like the actors, like this is basically pulled straight out of Return of the Jedi. I
Hmm.
like how that's done to kind of tie it back into the actors. Like, hey,
Well, yeah,
like
like
this
I
is
will
where you
say
came from.
every single cover for this
Uh huh.
entire series, I think looks amazing. I love it. Like the one that we chose for our thumbnail is quite
Yeah.
possibly one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. The contrast between the background, the orange background, and like Luke's green lightsaber, it
Hmm.
contradicts each other so much. You're like, ugh, that doesn't really look good. But for some reason, it looks so good.
Yeah. I completely agree. I guess the last question that I really have for you. So we have Rin Zinat introduced in the opening pages of Insurgency Rising, and she is basically like a main character through the rest of the book. An original character, as far as I can tell. What did you think of her throughout this? She's really partnered with Luke a lot, um, and kind of is basically a focal point to showcase his Jedi side, because she's got
Yeah,
like some rage.
like not only his Jedi side, but like almost also his like inability to like as of right now, because he's so early on in his mastered like Jedi like form as an
Yeah.
individual, um how unrelatable he is to every single person that he
Hmm.
interacts with. Like he has this hero complex, which is a downfall of Luke Skywalker. We've seen it before. That's the entire like reason why The Last Jedi is the way that it is.
Hmm.
But like she kind of brings him down to earth, which I really, really enjoyed. Now, it was teased in Insurgency Rising that she was a spice runner, but not confirmed. It was teased. And then at the very end,
I don't necessarily know how I feel about the whole Spice Runner thing. Just because I feel like that's like a crutch that Star Wars people have been using. Like, why couldn't she have just been a smuggler, per se? I don't
I
know.
I think it was a little bit of a crutch just because we were dealing with other spice runners,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But in the same vein, like I do think that smugglers and spice runners run in the same circles, so she could have been either. Um, but when it comes to light, that she is one, it's this like, hey, and like talking to Luke, it's like, hey, we're still
Mm-hmm.
people. We're still human, you know? We're still
Yep.
fighting the good fight type of thing. Um, and he has this aha moment of like, oh yeah, I guess anybody could help us. Which again is a little bit of a knock on the Luke Skywalker characterization, but these heroes need to learn lessons, like for us to be relatable to them.
Yeah, and it's definitely like it's an attempt to humanize him, right? Because he does have like elements of rage in this where he's like, well, I need to go take Adelhard out because he's just killing all of my friends, basically. And it's humanizing him and it's getting us to, hey, he's not infallible. And that's what The Last Jedi was trying to show us, but that's also where everybody else has to tie in because we came out of Return of the Jedi and everybody was like, oh, Luke Skywalker, the shining hero among us, but heroes aren't infallible. And so that's what I feel like and it may be unfortunate, but I feel like that's what every Luke Skywalker story has to have entangled with it now, is we have
Yeah,
to show he's infallible. Or he's not infallible, excuse me.
yeah. I 100% agree.
We have cleaned up the notes. I've gotten all the ugly post-its out of the book.
But with that, guys, that is our review. I apologize that we have been kind of off this episode. We have both been muting this entire time,
Yep.
coughing our brains out. So if you've lasted this long, thank you so much for supporting us. Of course, you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on any and all social media. Um, and I apologize for no Ranger Alliance for 2 weeks because I have been sick, and so has Jake. And we were supposed to record on Monday night, and then we both forgot, and then we were talking about doing it yesterday, but I'm still like feeling like crap. So we're gonna try and do 3 episodes all in one this upcoming weekend. So be on the lookout for that.
Don't
Katie,
kill yourself recording, please.
I'm gonna try not to.
Y'all, you can find me on most social media platforms. It's at Slice of Katie. Remember this show, you can find us on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. It's at Star Wars Alliance without the A in the words. Very important. Don't forget it. You can take that same username and stick it in front of at gmail.com and shoot us an email for any topics or reviews that you'd like to see us cover, any questions you have for the show. I know with Mandalorian and Grogu coming up, we're gonna we're gonna have a lot of questions. So Clay is pumping up, but he's like passing out in his chair with his pillow behind him. Um, so yeah, y'all say a prayer for us and send Sudafed and Mucinex. So with that, guys, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you are listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. May the force be with you.